You're listening
You're listening
to another episode
of the FreshTakes
podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Fresh Takes podcast. I am 1/3 of your host, Tim, alongside my two favorite co-hosts, Pat and Tank. Week 3 is almost in the books. We got 2 more games to go tonight, which one is Pat's team. So, spoiler right now, if the Eagles lose, the NFC East went 0-4 this week.
Yeah, they did.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I will say, all 3 of our teams kind of got blown out. Because you had...
My team really didn't get blown out.
I'd say yes, but no.
I mean, score-wise, score-wise, it wasn't a blowout. But the way we played, yeah, we got blown out.
I'm saying score-wise, yes, because you guys were projected to get so much more than what they were.
I think a blowout would have been better for the Cowboys because the way they lost is the way everyone has said that's the way they've been losing. And it goes to prove that maybe they haven't changed at all.
Oh, good old Dak Prescott.
All right, we'll get into that later. We'll get into that. We're not going to spoil anything right now talking about it.
All right, so then we just gonna jump right into it.
I mean, which game you want to jump right into?
Let's just go ahead and jump into the 1:00 Ravens Colts.
Well, you don't want to talk about the 49ers Giants Thursday night game?
No, that was Thursday night.
He's trying to brush that over.
That's what I'm saying. He wants to brush that one off.
Hey, we don't really talk about the Thursday night games, so you know.
Yeah. Okay, we can give you a pass for that, Tim.
All I'm gonna say is offensive line, man. That's the struggle.
It's brutal.
But all right, Ravens Colts overtime game. We got to do overtime because that's Tank's favorite.
He loves overtime.
So
I sure do, guys. I love it.
Ravens lose to the Colts 19-22 in overtime.
Yeah, before we even get into overtime, I think they should have won. I'm shocked that Tucker missed that kick. Yeah.
Well, speaking of missing kicks, I know you said before we get into overtime, I am shocked that even though he was a few yards short on that first attempt before overtime, that they punted it then back to the Colts when he could have took like a 63-yard attempt.
I think it was like a 62.
Yeah,
he just missed short, but also like it's Justin Tucker. Like odds are he'll make the next one. So,
which like if you want to talk about that, this is his second miss of the season, and usually the guy does not miss. Like
he normally has only one a season.
I know. So, like, what do you think is going on right now?
Well, I think yesterday was the field. Trying to hit a 60 in the downpour with the turf already wet because it was the fourth quarter. I give him a pass on that one.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'll give it to him, but at the same time, this is not Tucker.
Could it be a bandage that year?
It might be.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I mean, let's just get right into it. They shouldn't have even had to have worried about overtime because there was the missed face mask call.
It was. I don't know.
Although they might have not, had Gardner Minshew not stepped out of the back of the end zone there.
Yeah.
They might not have had a little bit of a breathing room
there. The Ravens are now potentially without Gus Edwards.
My Gus.
So down JK. Justice Hill has a foot injury. Gus could have a concussion. So then they're to recently acquire Kenyon Drake, who fumbled in the game, and Melvin Gordon, who has not played a snap since like week 12 of last year.
Yeah,
Apparently, he runs like 40 as fast as me now. So,
Which it's a shock because Melvin Gordon used to be one of the top running backs in the league.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
And then he was bouncing back and forth from teams, won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs last year.
So, like, not to wish injury upon anyone, but when are the Ravens' corners and safeties going to start getting hurt? Because that's
They
every
are.
year. It's the running backs and their corners. Like, they can never stay healthy.
Marlon Humphrey's hurt. Marcus Williams is hurt. And I think there's
There we
one
go.
other corner that's hurt. Yeah, they're already down their corners, too.
Fair enough.
That's why I played Michael Pittman yesterday.
Oh, man. There.
So is this the season that Pat might be right and Colts or not Colts? The Browns actually win the division.
I don't know
Because-
because
I
the
guess
Ravens
we'll
should
see
be 3-0.
after tonight, too.
The Ravens
Because
should
Pat,
be
I mean-
3-0.
Yeah, I agree. They should be 3-0, but Pat is the one that's all about. I mean, he's on the Browns train of choo choo going on. I mean, going.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the Browns should be 3-0 because they definitely should not have lost that Steelers game last week.
No,
No, that was just a botched ending there. They could have had that win.
And the only reason the Steelers are 2-1 right now is because of the teams they've been playing.
right?
Hey, listen,
but-
the Raiders are good. I promise the Raiders are good.
No, they're not. Jimmy G was a system quarterback.
I don't know why. We're not going to jump big into this game, but I did say last week the Raiders would beat the Bills, and I did say this week that the Commanders would beat the Bills, and boy, was I wrong on both of those.
Yeah, you're like getting real against Buffalo this year.
Well,
the only thing I said
my
this year
thing
was
is,
I was just going to say that I really thought the reason that the Bills looked great last week was because they were playing Raiders. So I'm not saying that the Commanders are, a Super Bowl bound team. I'm just saying I thought the Commanders looked like on paper that they were going to be a better team than what the Raiders were. So that's why I went with the Commanders on this.
Yeah.
I think the only reason the Commanders are looking as good is because Sam Howell isn't playing a real team yet.
well, that to a degree, and also like Washington's defense is definitely their high point, and if you look,
Yes.
like it was definitely Buffalo's defense that owned that game.
Well, I mean, they
Oh,
put up
yeah.
36 in fantasy.
So yeah, like
The week
But-
that I dropped Buffalo's defense for Dallas's, and then Buffalo puts up 36 and Dallas puts up 1.
Yeah, it was. The only thing I really want to talk about the Baltimore Colts game, is at in the overtime. I feel that was a passive interference, a defensive passive interference on Flowers. That I mean, as soon as the ball was released, I felt like he was already getting turned, and it was just the refs. I don't know what the refs were looking at or what, but that should have been a penalty. They should have given a first down, and instead of giving having to punt the ball away, it just wasn't.
And I definitely felt like that game was gonna tie.
What's the game that you said was going to tie, anyways?
This year, I said Packers and Rams.
yeah, still could happen.
I just hope
No
Aaron.
ties yet. We haven't
I
had
hope
any
Aaron
ties.
Jones is okay by then. But all right, we'll go ahead. We'll take a couple. We don't have to like full in-depth talk for them, but we'll jump in. Titans, Browns. Titans lose 3-27. How we feeling about Titans right now?
I think Hopkins made this dumbest mistake of his career of going to Tennessee.
It wasn't Hopkins' choice. Hopkins said that he called 5 other teams and none of them said anything. Dallas and New York being one. He said he called Dallas. He called the Chiefs. He called the Giants. Who else did he call? I think he called the Niners. And he said there was one other team and only the Titans responded. Which I'm a little upset that, the Giants didn't say anything, but the Giants are also a very young team. So maybe they just want to build around the young guys, but I mean that one veteran would be helpful for them. And Sterling Shepard is not that veteran. Shepard he's a good hype man, but he's not that guy to learn from.
No. But I just think it's.
But I think honestly, if it wasn't for Hopkins calling Tennessee, he wouldn't be on a team.
I think he'd be on a team. I just don't think he would be on a team that
I think right now he would not be on a team.
He had the New England stuff going on too a little bit,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, like that didn't work out. I don't know. Like I don't know if he would have been much better going there either. So
Only other thing is how we feel about you see Deshaun Watson's backward throw
Yeah, I saw that you put that in the
in
group
the
chat, and I
chat.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was like I even comment, what the F was he thinking? Like, what is like, why? How? I mean, I'm not even a quarterback kind of man, and I would have known not to throw it that way.
Do you think that their running is going to get better?
Yes.
Because you had Pierre Strong, who led with 6 attempts and 27 yards, Jerome Ford, 10 attempts for 18 yards, and Kareem Hunt, 5 attempts for 13 yards. Clearly, they cannot run without Nick Chubb there. But
well,
again,
it
was Kareem Hunt's first game back, and he only had 4 days to practice. So I'm not putting Kareem Hunt out there.
yeah.
He still has a chance. But Jerome Ford, he only had that big break-off run last week. Other than that, he would have had like 20 yards.
Well, it's also they're playing the Titans defense, regardless of how the Titans offense looks. And also, he was a receiving threat out of the back.
Yes, I will say Ford is a good receiving back, but I don't think he's going to be a good rushing back.
No, I 100% agree on that statement right there. That he's not a running kind of running back. I mean, he is, but he's not. He's more of the catch then run.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, next game: Lions beat Falcons 20-6. Sam Laporta, have a day.
I mean, did we even think that the Falcons would even put up something on the Lions? Because
I thought that it was going to be a close game.
Yeah, I mean, the Falcons' rush game and stuff should have.
I thought it would be like a 2017 game where last second the Lions got the game-winning field goal. But is it too late? Is it too late for us to change our Rookie of the Year pick? Sam Laporta, have a day. I think Sam Laporta is going to be a good one. Bijan had 33 rushing yards off 10 carries.
Yeah, that's an average of 3.3 yards a carry.
And then on the opposite side, rookie as well, Jahmyr Gibbs, Pat's guy, 17 carries for 80 yards.
Jahmyr is actually doing pretty good, I feel. I mean, I'm not knocking Bijan down either. But I just feel like this game Bijan wasn't as effective.
I think Bijan is a good running back, but the way that the Falcons do up their playbooks, I think that they're more of a throwing to the back kind of thing. I think Algier is the one who will run for you, but Bijan's the one who's going to get the catches.
And just to jump to the defensive side, Aiden Hutchinson had a pretty good day too. 2 sacks, a fumble recovery. Mm-hmm. So he's having a pretty good start to the year. Looking like he might be the guy.
Yep.
So Aiden was definitely a good acquirement for them last year. All right, next up, Saints-Packers. Saints went into halftime 17-0, and the Packers win 18-17. 18 unanswered points with a gutsy 2-point conversion to end the game.
This is what Jordan Love's first win at the Lambeau Field.
Yes, they've been away the last 2 games.
So I mean, maybe this is the Love year.
If I'm being 100% honest,
if I'm being honest,
that the only reason the Saints lost because Carr got injured.
Yeah, and
if Carr wasn't hurt, I think Saints would have won.
Now that you want to bring that up, Derek Carr is down with an injury. He most likely will be missing some time. It's not season ending, so that's a good outlook point for the Saints. But he did go down.
Because Jameis Winston, 10 for 16, 101 yards. I mean, he pretty much did exactly what Derek Carr did, but the difference was Carr got a touchdown. But here's the thing. They had Kendre Miller, who's a rookie. Is Tony Jones a rookie too?
No,
I
I was gonna say,
didn't
I
think
didn't think
so. But
no.
they get Alvin Kamara back next week.
Yay!
Boo.
So, and then, what? The Saints got a touchdown off of a punt return by Rashid Shaheed with the speed.
Yeah, so
I picked him up.
maybe Jameis comes in and they look better because honestly,
Well, Jameis had 3 less
they haven't looked great.
completions. Jameis had 3 less completions, but only 2 less yards than Derek Carr.
Yeah, like
So Derek had 13 completions for 103, and Winston had 10 for 101.
Yeah.
So from the start, I've said that Winston is a good quarterback and shouldn't be a backup. Which I want to pose this question, and I want to take it also a step back to the Colts game because I was thinking this the entire time watching the Colts game, and I wanted to bring it to you guys' attention. Do you think after watching how Minshew played and how Winston played, if Carr isn't season ending and Anthony Richardson comes back potentially soon, should the Jets try and go for one of those two guys?
no, the Jets should do everything they can to trade for Kirk Cousins.
See, but who's Minnesota's backup?
It doesn't matter. Minnesota's going to have to rebuild. They're 0-3. They're going to have
Minnesota's
to
definitely is going
rebuild
to have to
around
rebuild.
Jefferson.
Well, here's the thing. This is Jefferson's last year.
Well, they're going to have to pay him and bring in a rookie quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. If they
Because you
flop
pay him
this
nothing.
year, Jefferson's not going to want to come back.
No.
Yeah. So you tank for one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks. You trade Cousins now to get something in return for him because you won't have him next year anyway. And the Jets could really use him. Like, man.
I think the only way that happens is if the Jets are willing to part with an offensive lineman because that's what Minnesota needs.
Well, it's not like they're helping them anyway because their offensive line's terrible.
I'd say sign Wentz, trade Cousins for a pick and an offensive lineman.
I don't see Cousins. I don't see the Jets trading for Cousins. I don't even see the Jets trading to get another quarterback. Honestly, this is my gut feeling. They're going to stick with Wilson, and they are going to hope for the best. I really don't see them even doing anything to try to revamp the quarterback situation.
I don't either, seeing how Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz called the Jets, and they said no.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't. It's sad to say because I'm not saying that Wilson doesn't get enough praise. I'm not saying that Wilson deserves to get enough discredit or credit. But I just, as a Jets, if I was in Jets office, I would not trade for anybody right now. I would just go with what I got. I've already, I just traded for Rodgers. Yeah, he's down with a season injury, ending injury. But, I mean, you've already traded a good bit of stuff. And yes, Rodgers redid his contract so that you all can have the money. But what?
I know. I asked for Mike White back.
That too, yeah.
I mean,
he's in Miami.
He threw a touchdown.
What happens if Tua goes down?
Then they got Zach Wilson.
And they trade for Kirk Cousins.
All right. Well, speaking of Miami, 70
I was gonna say, let's
to
get ready for
20. The Broncos have not had a fun ride to start the season.
Broncos country, let's cry.
Sean Payton
this was
does not look like he's having fun out there.
This is the worst loss that Sean Payton's ever had. This is the worst loss that Wilson's ever had.
This is the worst loss since 1966.
I mean, I was gonna say this is the third. There's only been three games that have scored 70 points. Miami being one of them. I forget the other two.
The last one that happened was 1966. Washington beat the Giants 72 to 16.
and then the other one was I want to say the Rams and something. I want to say it was the Rams back in 1950s, but man, Miami went on a route. Raheem Mostert, he went, he had 4 touchdowns, which, I'm so glad I have him in my fantasy, even though I'm going to lose
I'm
to you,
saying you're
Tim.
still gonna lose to me.
I know. Tua, he went perfect for the first half. He only had 3 incompletions. He went 23 for 26, 309 yards in the air, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions with a QBR of 155.8. Do you all think? So I want to ask you all a question. Do you all think if Tua does not get hurt this season, that he could go on to be the best quarterback of this season out of all the quarterbacks?
Dude,
Absolutely.
I don't want to lie. I would like to change my vote when I said that Trevor Lawrence would be the MVP to Tua.
Yeah, I'm right with you. Right with you on that one. Because
I think all three of us want to say that it's not Trevor anymore.
no,
I mean,
Trevor.
it might even be Tyreek. But yeah, they if Tua stays healthy, they can absolutely seem to keep this like high power offense going. Their run game is designed. McDaniel is a great coach at the run. His schemes are awesome. It's a perfect system, and yet like they're a powerhouse. It looks like.
Which, speaking of McDaniels, what about his showmanship for not kicking that field goal to break the record?
I mean, sometimes I feel records don't need to be broken, but then sometimes I feel records need to be broken.
I think
Yeah.
something like that doesn't need to be broken.
I feel
I'm
like
okay with
I would have loved to break that on Sean Payton to go 0-3. Like that would have just been a nice little.
Oh yeah.
See,
I mean, Sean Payton's. I mean, has he even been inducted to the Hall of Fame? Because
no.
I'm not gonna lie, Sean Payton deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as a coach.
I get why not, because McDaniels is still a young coach. You don't want to put that on your name at what, third year in, second year in?
Yeah,
You
like
don't want to put that on your name.
So when do
yeah.
you put that on your name?
And
When
I
you're
think
like 10 years into the league, I'd say.
he's more a goofy type personality too. So
He's
like,
also very classy. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it, but he's like very goofy, but he's a classy guy.
Did you see the meme that there was a fan that dressed up like him that was in the stands? They said that he was had already scored so many points during halftime that second half he went into the stands to let the fans call the plays. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so I think honestly, if I'm Sean Payton, I'm trading Russell Wilson. Maybe that's what you do. You trade him to the Jets.
There, I mean,
I don't know if that Wilson's a better option than the one they have.
Yeah, but
know.
I
feel
think
Russell
they
Wilson,
have Jared Stidham. And Jared Stidham was a great quarterback at the end of the year last year. So I'd say you trade Russell Wilson and you just ride with Stidham. And then you get Caleb Williams.
I'm down with that. Yeah, again, I don't feel the Jets trade for him. I don't. But, I mean, out of all the quarterbacks that we just talked about, I feel Russell Wilson out in the Jets could probably work.
Or
That's just me.
maybe Jets trade for Cousins and then Minnesota trades for Wilson. And that's what they go with.
So
And
a 3-team trade.
Yeah, and then the Broncos tank and they get Caleb Williams.
I think Justin Jefferson vetoes that trade instantly. Like, no.
You're like, we ain't riding up here.
No.
But all right,
So-
next game. We had the Chargers and the Vikings. We said that this was definitely a must-win for both teams.
Yes.
And the Chargers came out on top 28-24 with a last-second interception that bounced out of TJ Hawkinson's hands.
And I'm pretty sure the Chargers went for on their own 24.
4th and 1.
It was what, 4th and 4, 4th and 1?
4th and 1.
4th and 1.
And they went for it, didn't get it, which gave the field to Minnesota to win it.
Yeah.
and they couldn't even pull it
that's-
out. So again, I don't think Cousins even should be considered prime time because of course he sucks during prime time games. Maybe Cousins sucks just in general.
I'm
Montreal
not putting
sucks.
that on Cousins though. TJ
Okay, but
Hawkinson should have caught it. So
okay,
that's
yes,
not that
I understand.
interception's not on Cousins, and the offensive
But
line's not helping Cousins. Cousins led them back in that game. Last week, he led them back against the Eagles. None of this is on Cousins. It's on
here's
Minnesota's team.
but think about it. If what the ball was up here above the head of Hawkins, if he had it down here, you got to
And-
also think about the quarterback has to place the ball at a certain spot.
but
Yes, I
also,
understand.
Okay,
Madison
but if
fumbled
you
again.
watch
Like,
TJ Hawkinson, he does not like the ones at his chest. He prefers high balls. Some receivers prefer getting higher, and that's what they wanted.
hey, yeah. Shut up.
But
Sorry,
on
I was
other
laughing.
news, Joe Burrow is active tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good news for my fantasy hopes. Could come down to the 8-point difference that I should have started Zay Flowers over Gus Edwards.
Joe
like you guys
Mixon
did
could
tell
have
me.
been quarterback.
When are you going to start playing Zay
Yeah,
Flowers?
you had Zay in to begin with.
When are we going to get more than one flex spot?
Pat, you and I talked about this. You said wait till next year.
Well, we can't do it in the middle of a year, but really, like,
I mean,
we
I
need more
can.
flex.
I can go in and change it.
Why don't you just get rid of Zay Flowers?
I can't
I'll
do
take
that
him.
either.
Because
I'll
he's trying
take
to
him
get
off
rid of
your hands.
Diggs.
Because like it is matchup based, and I thought the Ravens would have a big lead and Gus would run more.
Well, it's
And I
also
know
that this is a keeper league, and Zay Flowers is a rookie, so Pat could keep him throughout the year.
yeah,
I'll
that's
take him
true.
off your hands.
I didn't think about that yet.
But all right, Patriots, Jets. Patriots have won the last 15 times they have faced, and they make it 16. As the Patriots won
Patriots
15
own
to
the
10.
Yeah,
Jets.
and
Patriots
Russell-
own the Jets.
Not Russell Wilson. Zach Wilson is 0-6 against the Jets.
Bill Belichick. It's the coach. I'm sorry.
Because Mac Jones didn't look good that game. I can tell you that.
No, from the highlights I watched, no, he did not look good.
Jets defense is really the only thing that's actually helping them. The Jets run game is just awful at this point. Because, I mean, Breece Hall had, I think, 18 yards. Dalvin Cook, I think, had 10 yards. Let me look at these stats. Dalvin Cook had 18. So you had Dalvin Cook, 8 attempts, 18 yards. Breece Hall, 12 attempts for 18 yards. And then Zach Wilson, 1 attempt for a yard.
pretty good.
Michael Carter and the running backs coach were getting into it on the sidelines. Yeah.
Like, look how
It was
how
awful.
bad they're doing. Put me in.
It was awful.
I don't know. I feel that it's the coach. But
I don't know if you
that's
can
just-
blame Robert Saleh.
I'm not blaming him. I'm saying that Belichick knows how to coach against the Jets. Belichick is the answer for the Patriots. But I'll say it to this day. I feel this is his last season.
See, that's what I said. I think if he does terrible this year, he will be gone.
But you know what I think he might go to? He might play out this season, tank next season, and then wait for the opening job. I think it's Navy, I think it is. Because I'm pretty sure that's where his dad was a coach at, and he might go there.
I don't know. I think he's done head coaching now. If he gets canned, I think he'll be done head coaching.
So
All right. Now the
Yeah.
biggest upset of the week. Texans 37 and the Jaguars 17.
can I go ahead and change my Super Bowl prediction?
Yeah.
Can I change my MVP, my coach of the year?
Hey, don't worry.
I mean-
At our mid-season awards, we can change all of that.
Dude, it's
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not looking
man.
like I'm gonna have Jags versus Minnesota.
I had Jags versus Eagles.
I had Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, so
Hey,
hey,
at least Pittsburgh's 2-1.
And
there's
Pittsburgh
still
will
hope.
finish with they'll finish above 500. So
Yeah, so there's always a chance. It's just they really have to find some offense.
Jaguars are
Yeah.
0-2 in their division already. But the
Yeah,
biggest takeaway from that game, fullback with a kick return touchdown.
he's the
Ooh.
first. What is it? Isn't he the first in the NFL history who is over 250 pounds to return a touchdown on a kickoff? I'm pretty
Was it
sure he's the first.
250? I thought he was 225.
Might be 225, but it's somebody that's over
He's
200 some pounds.
255. His
Okay,
name
so
is
that's what.
Andrew
Andrew
Beck.
Beck.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. And he went to Texas.
Say, I knew that it was Andrew Beck, but I didn't know his weight.
But yeah, I saw that. That's the first time that anybody over that weight has scored a kickoff return.
Yep. And then Tank Dell, he's a rookie, right?
For sure he is. Wait a minute, who?
Tank Dell. Yeah, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Rookie Tank Dell, he had 105 yards, 145 yards, 5 catches, 1 touchdown.
5 catches. He had a good game last week too. Him and Stroud seem to have a bit of a early pairing.
I think Tank Dell and Nico Collins are going to be the 2 big names for the Texans going. They still have a bad run, still bad run game, but I mean, not much you can do.
I tried to jump on Nico Collins last year. I was a little bit early because they didn't have Stroud yet.
But hey, I got Nico Collins this year at the price of Khalil Herbert. All right, and then the last game, we kind of went over it. Bills 37, then the Washington Commanders 3.
At least they didn't get
the
shut
Bills
out.
out.
I was gonna say they I think even the commentators were even saying that why would you even have Sam Howell coming back out? And they're like, the coaches are probably saying just go out there and get us something. Get us, do not let us finish with 0 points.
I would have put in freaking Brisket out there.
He threw what, 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions?
4 interceptions, and I think he might have fumbled.
I was gonna say they had 5
Somebody
or 6
fumbled.
He sacked 9 times. Antonio Gibson fumbled.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sacked 9 times, threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
What was his QBR? Do you know?
19.2 and a rating 41.5.
Yeah. A total of 45 yards lost with his sacks.
Yeah. Do you think Sam Howell is the answer for Washington, or do you think they?
Like I said earlier, he played bad teams. That's why Sam Howell looks good.
I mean, I could get behind that.
I think next week will be the test when they play Philly.
Philly's got that. I'm gonna go ahead and call it.
I don't know. It depends on how Philly does tonight. Philly's been kind of like giving it up in the second half each week.
True.
Well, yeah. That's why I picked up on my own fantasy team. I picked up Baker Mayfield as a quarterback.
Well, that's because you got Daniel Jones.
Well, I needed someone, but there were other options. But I felt Baker might put up like 350 yards and 3, maybe 4 touchdowns on,
especially because
Philly's secondary.
Philly's been giving up in the second half, and that's when the Bucs have been striving.
Yeah, so like I expect the Eagles to win, but it very well could be like a 30-27 game or something like that. Like
I wish y'all don't have
Devontae.
Yeah.
And James Bradbury's playing a different position today.
Yeah.
Oh, is he playing the nickel?
Yeah.
Thank God, because we can't have old White Castle or whatever his freaking name was.
Dude, Mike Evans would have torched him.
Oh, yeah.